Welcome back to the channel. We're in the seat, and as always we're back rolling out the videos today, as we have done for the past 7, 8, 9 videos. It is a big one today. I'm going to be bringing you an exclusive look at the Wrexham AFC home shirt for the upcoming championship season. The club hasn't released it yet, but I've been fortunate enough to get a picture of it. We're going to be discussing it, the details on it, whether you at home like it or not, and the overview of what the fans have had to say on social media about this shirt. We're also going to be taking a look at the USA Tour squad news, a couple of names that have gone that might surprise a couple of people, a couple of players that have been left behind, which I think we could sort of understand that there is going to be some transfer activity with them. And we're also going to be looking at a player that Wrexham have reportedly sent a record-breaking contract offer to. So there is plenty of big topics that we are going to be talking about in today's video. I say it every video. You know what to do if you want to see more of this content, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. It's absolutely free to do so. We're on the road to 29,000 subscribers. Make sure to drop a like as well, hype the video, do all that good stuff. Enough of the self-promo. Let's get taking a look at the home shirt. So as exclusively revealed on social media, if you follow me on Twitter and if you've been keeping up to date with the community post on YouTube, you will have seen that about a week ago I said that I had been fortunate enough to get a picture of the home shirt. I described it, and then a couple of days ago I put it on social media because our co-owner Ryan Reynolds released it, so I thought why not, we'll give a better picture of it. And the home shirt for this season is themed around the racecourse ground. Now if you thought the reaction to the away shirt was slightly disappointing, all it takes is to look through a couple of comments on Twitter, on YouTube, to understand the general overview of this shirt. And I wouldn't say it's a good one. I'd say probably the percentage and the ratio is 70% of people don't like it and 30% of people do like it. Of course, when I'm talking about it, it will be on the screen, and as you can see, it does feature a two-tone red design on the front of the shirt and then coming down on the shoulder with sort of that white stripe coming across both, which is certainly something Wrexham aren't used to. Whether it's a good idea, whether it's, you know, a bold idea that's gone down well amongst the Wrexham fans is another question. Do I like it? I think it looks okay. I'm not sure about the two-tone though. I think the best shirts we've had under the takeover have been the ones that are very simple design, and of course at the time people think and look at the shirts and be like, oh, it's a simple design, there's nothing much to it. But I think we can sort of gather from the shirts that we have gone for in the past couple of seasons, less is more. We can also see the cop barriers as well on the front of the shirt, which I think is a lovely tribute to where the heart and soul of this football club does belong, and it's the home of Wrexham Football Club, the racecourse ground. So it's an absolutely incredible touch. I do like the designs that Wrexham have featured on the shirts over the past couple of years. That's something I can really get behind, the subtle designs and the true meaning behind the shirt designs, just have real reasoning behind them as to, you know, the future and the past of Wrexham Football Club. Now in my opinion, looking at this shirt, what I'm going to say is I've grown on shirts a lot under Ryan and Rob. There's been a couple of shirts where I've looked at first glance and I've thought that's not very good, and then over time I've seen players wear it, fans wear it, and it's really grown on me. But for this one I'm just not fully sold, and I've looked at it so many times because I've had the picture for about a week and a half now. I've looked at it probably 50 plus times, and every time I just can't seem to bring myself to like it. And that's not a bad thing. Of course, we're going to like shirts, we're going to hate shirts. This one for me just sort of sits in the middle. I don't think it's amazing, but then again I don't think it's one of the worst shirts we've ever had. Comparing it to last year's though, the centralised badge, sort of the old school design, I do think last year's is a massive upgrade on what we have been given this year. But unfortunately for this home shirt, the trailer is set to be quite an emotional one, so whether fans will be upset, whether the workers at the club will be upset that it's gone out before obviously the promotional trailer and when they were set to release it, I'm not sure. So maybe it'll go down better amongst the fans once they see this trailer. So what I'm assuming, of course it's racecourse themed, so whether they'll get past and present fans, maybe include fans that have passed away. You think of the likes of Joey Jones, who played for the club, who unfortunately passed last summer, Arthur Massey as well. So I'm sure it will touch a few people, and I'm sure that will make them grow on this shirt over time. But staying on the theme of shirts, we have been given some news on the third shirt. Now the third shirt is supposedly cream coloured. Make of that what you will, with red and black features on the collar and on the cuffs of the sleeve. It's definitely going to be bold. Now I can't imagine a shirt that is going to go down as an instant classic when it's cream and has features of red and black on it. I could be completely wrong, but using my imagination, I'm not too sure what it's going to look like. Of course, it will just feature the dragon that is on the Wrexham badge. It won't be the Wrexham badge, which I think might shock a few of you at home because we haven't seen that on a shirt yet. So that's some news for you to keep up to date with. Talking next on the USA squad tour news. Now, of course, our American tour starts in just 3 days' time. Our first game kicks off against Leeds United on Saturday, midnight UK time, and Phil Parkinson has confirmed his 28-man squad for the tour against Leeds United, Liverpool, and of course capping off against Sunderland. Now, there's a couple of surprises in there. Of course, I think the main thing to note is the current players at the club, the key players for us. Max Cleworth, Josh Windass and Ben Sheaf have all travelled with the squad out to America. Whether that means that their return is on the grass and they're ready to play 90 minutes, or whether they'll continue their rehab over in the States to just help them climatise to the conditions out there, to get them really fully fit ahead of the first game of the season away at Cardiff City. So it's unknown on that case, but I think Phil Parkinson will want to give them a run out either way, whether it's the first game or it's the last game. If we're looking as well, fans' favourite Elliot Lee has travelled out to the United States with Wrexham, which definitely comes to a surprise. It's proved me wrong as well. I thought that game against Wisla Krakow was going to be his last game in a Wrexham shirt. He got the send-off he deserved, and then a deal would have been in the pipeline to have been concluded, of course, in the coming weeks. But he's travelled out. What I'm understanding and what I've seen from some sources is Elliot Lee is still set to leave the club, whether it's later on in the transfer window or whether they return for the United States. It's obviously a case of they can't get a deal finalised, so he's obviously going to travel out with us in the squad. Ryan Hardy, Connor Cody, Seb Revan have all been left out of the squad. Hardy and Revan, of course, are suffering setbacks through injuries. Connor Cody, there's no injury to note. Phil Parkinson hasn't confirmed there's an injury there, so I think it's a case of Cody leaving in the next couple of days. And talking next on a bit of transfer news, this is big. According to Team Talk, Wrexham have reportedly tabled a club record contract offer to Senegalese striker Bamba Dieng, who's currently a free agent after leaving Lorient in France and has featured at 2 World Cups for the Senegal, one of those being the 2026 World Cup just gone, where he did play in one game there. I think he played 7 minutes. He didn't get all the game time in the world, but he was called up to the Senegalese national team squad. This deal for Bamba Dieng, if it is going to come off, is not going to be easy for us. We've got the likes of Bournemouth, West Ham United, Middlesbrough, Hull City. They have all been tipped to make a move for the 26-year-old forward. 2 of those teams being in the Premier League and 2 of those teams being giants in the Championship. I wouldn't be surprised, and you at home, if this doesn't come off, I wouldn't be frustrated, because they are 4 big teams to be going in for a striker like this, and they're 4 teams that are going to provide strong competition if Wrexham to go in for him. If we are looking at Bamba Dieng, he spent his whole professional career over in France, where he did break through at Marseille, who, of course, one of the most well-renowned teams in France. He played over 50 times for Marseille, scoring 11 times, and ever since then he suffered a couple of setbacks here and there in his development. He left to Angers. I think he spent 3 or 4 seasons at Lorient, but it's been a bit of a hit and miss time for him in front of goal, and especially in terms of game time, he suffered a lot of setbacks through injuries. If we're looking at his injury history, 8 separate injuries have kept him out of action in the previous 2 years. Is that something we need to be concerned about for a striker who we want to be fit for at least 40 out of 46 games of the season? I definitely do think it is. I think the most he's played in the past 4 years is 25 games per season. Away from that, it's been sort of 20, 15, 18. So it is a bit concerning, his injury history, but if he's coming off the back of a really good season, it might be sort of, issues he had over there with the infrastructure. We really don't know, but I highly doubt it. But despite this, Bamba Dieng last season, what a player he was, what a striker he was in front of goal. It was his first sort of full season, you could say. It was far from full, but full season in terms of no major setbacks. He found the back of the net 15 times in 25 games in all competitions. Don't get me wrong, minutes were still severely limited for Bamba Dieng, but he proved what he could do in those games that he did play and in those minutes that he did play for Lorient. They finished 10th in the table, 15 goals in Ligue 1, the top tier of French football. Bringing that over to the Championship for a team that narrowly missed out on the playoffs would be a massive coup. And when I say this would probably be the biggest signing under the table takeover? It probably would. Looking at Dieng as a striker, he's one that would add a completely different dimension for us up top in that forward line. You know, we're used to the likes of Sam Smith, Kiefer Moore, those strikers that, you know, are 6'2" to 6'5", will have the ball lumped onto their head, will hold it up, do the dirty work up front. No, Bamba Dieng, completely different. He's 5'10", so that kind of immediately rules him out of being that target man, hold up striker in this Wrexham setup. You won't see balls being launched to his head like we do for Kiefer Moore. Instead, Bamba Dieng is a very fast striker. He uses his pace to his advantage, and he's one that likes to create those effective runs all across the front line, whether it be in behind the defence, beating the offside trap, down the channels. With this, it would just allow the creative side of the likes of Nathan Broadhead, Lewis O'Brien, Josh Windass to come out even further. We saw it last year, but sometimes I thought we were limited in seeing their creativity because of the runs of the strikers. I think we saw the best version of Josh Windass when we saw Sam Smith play up front, because Smith would like to make those runs in behind the defence. Josh Windass and Broadhead are not afraid to play those cute balls in behind the defence, so having a striker who's going to make those runs, those clever runs, has that good IQ when making them, would certainly benefit a couple of players in this Wrexham team, especially in the forward line. And I think that does tie in well to the fact that he would be uncomfortable as a striker. He would be that striker that would bring uncomfortability to the back line more than anything, especially to the defence he's coming up against. He's a striker that would use his pace, his movement for those runs in behind. His pace as well would allow defenders to be unable to hold an aggressive line comfortably. You know, they would want to play that line. They'd see us now currently with Smith and Moore, and they think, okay, we don't really have to be on our toes. We know what's expected. We know that we just need to be good in the air. But with Bamba Dieng, he'd offer a completely different dimension and a completely different setup when, you know, these opposition teams are looking at how we play. So I think it could be an advantage there, and I think it could be a logical one for Wrexham. I think if you are looking at his stats as well, even further last year, if you score 15 goals from 30 shots on target, that's a 50% conversion rate in League One. That is an incredible return. For a striker that's not been fully fit for the past 4 years, this will be big for him. He'll be thriving with confidence wherever he does end up. And I do think, looking at his stats and looking at how he has performed in the past couple of months, you'd look at the past 12 months, he definitely deserves a shot of playing Premier League football. I think it would be a smart signing for whichever club does go in for him. Hull City, he'd suit that. Bournemouth, with their development, he'd be good there. Do I think Wrexham would be enough for him to sort of attract him to the club? I think there's a chance. I think money talks, of course, in football these days, and Wrexham have reportedly sent a record contract offer. I think if we're looking in the region of £25,000 to maybe reaching £30,000 for Bamba Dieng, which is ridiculous money, but you need to be paying these players in this day and age to bring them into the club. If they want to, you know, drop playing for a top League One side, a top 10 League One side, for a championship side like Wrexham, you're going to have to put your money where your mouth is, and I think it would be an incredible addition. Of course, on the channel I have my says on these players, and sometimes there are a couple of negatives here and there, but for Bamba Dieng, it would be impeccable to have him in this Wrexham setup. If we can get a striker that's going to be fully fit and get over his injury problems, we could have a real gem on the cards, especially for a free transfer. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think Bamba Dieng would be a good signing for Wrexham? Let me know your thoughts as well on the home kit. All your thoughts are welcome in the comment section down below. Make sure to drop a like. 300 likes would be absolutely incredible on today's video. Subscribe, do all that good stuff, and until the next one, take care guys. Up the Championship Reds.